Another lawyer just got sanctioned for submitting fake case law in a legal brief. And once again, it came from ChatGPT. They asked the Oracle, and the Oracle, high as a kite on confidence and fumes, delivered. I've been warning about this for a while now. In blog posts like From Fumes to Function, Ghosts in the Machine, and others, I've talked about how AI isn't just a tool, it's a mirror. I'll leave links to the blog posts in the description for this video. Anyway, it's a mirror. AI is a mirror of our biases, our lack of knowledge, and the stuff it was trained on, all the stuff, good, bad, and indifferent. So it's not just a mirror, but it's a cloudy one at that. Plus, it confabulates. We lawyers know about confabulation. It's a prediction machine that has been trained on a lot of material, some of which is incorrect. Worse, it doesn't remember what it learned, even when the material it was trained on was good and correct. So when it tries to get specific, giving you quotes, citations, or mentioning the holdings of cases which may or may not exist, it frequently gets it wrong. And if you don't know what you're doing, it reflects that loudly. This latest case isn't just a one-off mistake. It's part of a pattern. A growing number of lawyers, over 150 documented cases so far, are being embarrassed, sanctioned, or worse because they trusted the Oracle. It was a Bloomberg Law article I read that caused me to come up with this, I was going to say post, but I mean video. The Bloomberg Law article describes a Colorado immigration lawyer who used ChatGPT to draft a motion. The AI cited the case of U.S. v. Aguilar. Problem is, that case, it doesn't exist. And the judge didn't just shrug it off, he imposed sanctions. Because it wasn't just the AI that made the mistake. It was the lawyer who failed to verify the information. This is becoming routine. Not the sanctions, but the sloppiness and the growing willingness to let the machine do the thinking. Let's be clear. AI didn't file the motion. AI didn't sign the pleading. AI didn't forget to shepherdize. And for you non-lawyers, that's verifying that the case was real and good law. A lawyer did that. And that's where this gets serious, because this isn't about tech. It's about training. It's about competence. It's about ethics. When lawyers use ChatGPT, Lexis AI, Claude, whatever, and they don't know how to verify what they're getting, they're not just playing with fire. They're asking the Oracle and walking away without bothering to interpret the fumes. In ancient Greece, people traveled to Delphi to ask questions of the Oracle. That's where I got this metaphor. The priestess, the Pythia, would inhale vapors from a crack in the earth and deliver cryptic answers in a trance. She was high as a kite. And the thing was, you didn't just take the Oracle at her word. You needed priests, interpreters, context. There was a lot of politics involved in this back then. Today, we just replaced the cavern with a keyboard. And lawyers are taking legal advice from a glowing rectangle, the monitor, without checking to see if it's breathing smoke. And judges aren't amused. And they're starting to say so in footnotes, in sanctions, and in published orders. In some cases, lawyers are fined. In others, they're referred to disciplinary committees. But the worst part, clients are the ones who suffer. And that's why I keep going back to something Vincent Hallinan, a great lion of a San Francisco lawyer, once said. Lawyers make a good living off the misery of others, and any lawyer not willing to go to jail for his client has no damned right being in the courtroom. That quote's been stuck in my head for years. It's like a dark refrain. Actually, it's more like a kind of moral tinnitus, the ringing in your ears that won't quit. It's not just about the theatrics of going to jail for a client, although I've been there, done that. Didn't actually have to go, I was saved, but almost. It's about what it means to take responsibility for the work we do, the lives we touch, and the damage we risk when we get it wrong, or worse, when we don't care if we got it wrong. I've written before that I wish it weren't true, that we didn't make our living off the misery of others. But we do. And that means the obligation is even greater to do the job right, not to delegate it to a chatbot, not to cut corners, not to treat someone else's liberty as a prompt to be auto-completed. There are days in this job when it feels like I'm just salt in the wound, another burden for someone already crushed by the system. And that's why it matters so much that we own the responsibility. Because if we're not willing to stand between a human being and the machine and do it with everything we've got, then we've no damned right being in the courtroom. Because if you trust the oracle and get it wrong, your client could lose their liberty, status, rights, or their entire case. So let me be direct, especially if you're a lawyer watching this. Never cite a case you haven't read personally. Never file something you haven't checked. You would check your paralegal, you would check your clerk, check AI, and never confuse AI confidence with legal competence. ChatGPT doesn't know how to practice law. It just sounds like it does. It's fluent, but not reliable. And if you rely on it blindly, you're not practicing law, you're just channeling the fumes. The oracle isn't going away, and neither is AI. But if you're going to use it, learn how it works. Learn how it doesn't work. Understand what it's good for and what it isn't. Learn about AI snake oil. Because at the end of the day, the real danger isn't the oracle. It's the lawyer who mistakes prophecy for precedent. If you found this helpful or horrifying, like I do, like, subscribe, and don't forget to verify your sources. And if your lawyer ever says, hey, don't worry, I had ChatGPT draft this for me, or I use AI to help make sure I'm doing the best for you, you might want to find a new lawyer. Whether you're a lawyer, a client, or just curious about the tools reshaping the legal system, you should know how dangerous it is when we mistake fluency for fact. My name is Rick Horowitz. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Fresno, California, and I care what happens to you. Thank you.